And what would you claim? That she was in love with you.
Welcome to Wish for Death Island Population Me, where every day stray further away from the light of God. So you might be thinking, this looks a little weird for a Batwoman review, and I just decided that while I am feeling not as anxious as usual about the whole face cam thing, I might as well try and do it a bit differently. Not that this is something that's gonna stick, I'd still kind of oscillate between the two styles because I genuinely think that sometimes facecam is just a detriment to the review. For example, the Harry Potter book reviews will never have that, but maybe some other stuff will. So let's see how this goes. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I don't know. So we open with Ryan fucking screaming because the thing on her arms totally makes sense and is getting even worse.
It kind of reeks too.
Asian brings up this weird thing about how she was like, oh, I deleted stuff while I was recording the TV for you, so
When I delete half the DVR to make room for your shows? What?
It looks so gross too. It makes no sense, but at least they kind of got the makeup right. I don't know what the fuck that is, but you know. Also, Asian confirms that the kryptonite entered Ryan's brain somehow. You know, I'm just gonna leave that for you to get triggered by because I just have no soul left, so it doesn't even faze me anymore. Meanwhile, Alice takes the lady with the bad accent into the sewers to find the boyfriend that she killed for evil Nigella. Only it's not really the boyfriend, but a skin suit replica on someone else. If you don't follow it, the sentence sounds pretty bad, but if you do follow it, it sounds just as bad. And of course they start fighting as well. It's riveting. So Black Lightning says that she wishes she didn't give the magic map away or whatever, and Jacob turns around and goes rah 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 rah. That's all he does. His acting has gone so bad that he just looks like he wants a nap.
I've been running off-the-grid medical experiments.
So as per usual, when they say that someone stole something, they say that it was actually a bunch of thugs who have a lot of skill because someone with a lot of money hired them. You know, aka just like, we've written ourselves into a hole, let's just make like rich people thugs do it. It also leads back to those doctors from a while ago, you know, the ones that were making the guy go crazy. Hamilton Dynamics, the one that evil Asian mom who is now dead. I swear if you haven't watched this before and you just jump into this one, I sound like I'm on crack, but it's not me, it's the show, I swear. And Jacob is like, my dead wife, Tara forgot the name of, was hiding even more secrets. So Alice makes more retarded faces and asks the weird accent lady for answers and is like,
who, what, where, and why Ocean and I were experiencing fleeting moments of forgotten memory.
And the accent lady is like,
Sophia had your memories wiped.
And then goes on to give exposition. Like, she says that she wouldn't give exposition, and then immediately gives exposition. It's like, you gotta tell me why. And the accent lady's like, no, I will not do it. And then then she's like, hang on a minute. So Asian was always the enemy of the evil Nigella person because of the medical shit. So if you recall, evil Nigella has a bunch of magic roses on her island that cure everything. Asian mom knew about some of that and she kept trying to fuck with her, and then they just kept fucking with each other and they hated each other. Yeah, unlike Wish for Death Island, where we just have poison and regret. So evil Nigella was the one who actually hired Alice to take out the evil mom, which led to some shenanigans prior to this involving yachts. I don't get rich people things, so you're just gonna have to take it at that. So when evil Nigella had tried to steal the yacht from evil Asian mom, she had found Alice prior to the blonde hair escapades. Alice was just kind of hanging out on the boat and she ended up fighting them off so impressively that evil Nigella was like, no, we don't just shoot her because she's a threat, we take her onto the island for some fucking reason. And like, I kind of get it, like, keep taking them on board to see if you can, like, you know, manipulate the stray into loving you type of weird evil person plot. I get it, that's fine, I've seen that before, it works perfectly fine. But the thing is, she immediately buffs Alice's ego, and this isn't like a love bombing manipulation situation. Evil Nigella just really likes her because Alice, fan favorite. So Alice continues to guilt trip to the empty egg carton, who is listening to her also attentively. Evil Nigella was apparently inspired by Alice because Alice was in a basement once and had a bad time. Therefore, evil Nigella is inspired by Alice's will to be mad. So she considers herself a prisoner of her island. Unlike me, who have you as prisoners, my island is clearly just superior to hers. This entire video will just be that joke over and over again because it's true. The evil accent lady is just continuing to explain explain this shit to Alice despite the fact she just said that she wouldn't. So Ocean and Alice fell in love because they met each other at the opportune time for the plot, and when evil Nigella sent Alice back to the civilization to do her job, she expected Alice to come back and be loyal to her, but Alice just came back because she wanted to continue fucking her boyfriend. And then that caused evil Nigella to have a tantrum. We are like 7 minutes into this episode, and this is all that's happened. It's just 90% flashback. Meanwhile, Asian says that Ryan is fucking useless until they get a rose from the Magic Island to make her feel better after the unexplained green shit all over her. Jacob is also somehow gonna go get it because he needs to go get Kate. Despite the fact that they have zero proof that she's alive, they're just gonna trust this person and go to the island to go and get her. And then Ryan is like, no, I am strong girl, even though I'm dying, so I'm just gonna leave anyway. So Alice and Ocean started off their fanfiction romance by hating each other at first. Then they kissed, and honestly I just skipped through most of this because it's like 2 minutes of like fanfiction kissing and it was really annoying. They're like two of the mannequins from Pin. That's a fucking reference and a half, isn't it? What am I gonna bring up next? The time that the Brazilian government made gay bestiality porn involving a horse. So Ryan on the way has a massive flashback to her mum saying things, and then her mum is like dying or whatever because Ryan's having a hallucination, and once again I skipped through a lot of it because it just went on for way too long.
Brain isn't working, so she turned to her heart.
So she turns up as Batwoman to her ex-girlfriend, someone who is a really bad actor if you remember. So they both chill out and be obnoxious for a little while, and then Batwoman asks the girlfriend for some info. I don't understand how they don't know that she's Ryan when you can clearly see like half of her face. So the girlfriend just yeets her out the window, which I would have done as well, to be fair. So she falls onto a car Black Dahlia style, except with way less grace, and the other two immediately find her and drag her off, and then the police show up and scream at them and everyone's yelling. It's like, this is another stupid reference. You know the extreme violence mod from The Sims 4 where the helicopter comes down and arrests you if you kill too many Sims? I don't know why I thought of that. So the police are like right here, really close to you. What do you expect? Do you expect them to be running away as quickly as possible? Do you expect them not to be arguing?
Why are you giving me the key?
I have to take the Batmobile.
I can take the Batmobile.
I've never driven it before.
I've never driven your car before.
No.
So Ryan is stuck in the dream dimension as well. She keeps having these hallucinations that I'm just gonna keep skipping over because they have no value whatsoever. So Asian gives a list of stuff to Luke that she needs to save Ryan. Now, okay, I want you to picture this. You just got a list of stuff that you need to get immediately because your friend is going to die within like the next, what, 24 hours? So it's very urgent, and your friend is currently like writhing around in pain because she's trapped in the nightmare dimension. You probably go and get the stuff, don't you? That's not what Luke does at first.
Okay, great. So, do I look like Postmates or
No.
So they both snark and argue where their friend is dying in the background, and then he decides to go after Asian gives like some fucking speech. So the bad accent lady reveals evil Nigella was actually in love with Alice the entire time. She really is an empty egg carton. She's like Dolores Umbridge with less pink. Honestly, as much as I hate Umbridge, I actually like her more than evil Nigella. So she explains some bullshit about female armies. Like, the history of the island is that there were a bunch of female armies just like hanging out on the island, and then some colonial men came over, and then the women like killed them all, but a lot of them died. So then when they died, they became roses. And that's why the roses are like magic roses. So while they're raiding the evil clinic, Black Lightning confesses that she knew about Asian's bootleg hospital, and they just like pause to stand there while Jacob does the rada 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 thing again where he just complains. So they finally run into the room, and everyone in the evil hospital is dead because the island people got there first and stole everything. So everything about those people, I feel like I can just picture the writers where they were like, okay, so we have this hospital with a bunch of people experimenting on other people, and we put a lot of work into that, so what do we do with it? We just kill him. So Ryan wakes up and they snark again. I keep saying and they snark or they start snarking or whatever, but that's really like 90% of the script, and it just feels like no one has any form of empathy or other emotions. I mentioned this in the Powerpuff Girls one and like every other Batwoman review because it's a big point that they always just end up sounding like a really bad comedian and they don't have any other emotions. Like, how am I supposed to take it seriously when they obviously don't? Their friend, like a friend of yours is dying and having a really bad time, but you have time to just make a joke about how you don't look like a postman when you need to save her. So she wants to go off and find Ocean, because Ocean is the key to all of this apparently. So Asian's like, no, you can't do that because you're dying. And then Ryan's like, yeah, but I have to go and get the rose anyway because otherwise I'm just gonna die anyhow. So they just kind of back and forth for a while. Meanwhile, Jacob is still having a tantrum and Black Lightning's delivery keeps getting worse every single time.
To the deceased, and everyone seems to have been involved in the experiments with the desert rose.
So they did find a scrap, it just had a warning written on it, so it's the island people telling them that they should stop searching for it, which obviously they're not going to do. There's another flashback of Alice and Ocean. So he has a rose because he's trying to leave the island to make a cure so that everyone in the whole universe can have magic healing powers, and he doesn't want evil Nigella to know, and he wants Alice to come with him because he's in love with her. That's what this like 40 minutes is about. 40 minutes of flashbacks is just this, so we don't need to keep revisiting these scenes. I'm just gonna skip a lot of this. So they make out for like 5 minutes afterwards as well. There's a lot of that and I skipped all of it. So when they come back from the flashback, the accent girl starts laughing because she's like, haha, you killed your boyfriend that you forgot you had. And then Alice is like, lol, no. So Black Lightning tells Asian that they didn't get the map, and then Asian's like, oh my god, what do we do? Seriously, Ryan cannot go 1 minute without acting like she is superior. Even Kate wasn't this bad. Like, Kate was pretty bad and is kind of worse in some aspects, but Ryan is really fucking bad. She also has to remind Asian of that one time that her mom died, and Asian's like, yeah lol, that was pretty sad, and then they like kind of sympathize with each other, and then they're like, okay, let's go on with the plot now. Alice gets another flashback of when she and Ocean were caught. Evil Nigella rees at them and then refuses to actually kill them. So she gets someone called I was about to say Enigma. We're not gonna call her Enigma. So evil Nigella gets someone called Enigma to go and do some hypnosis on them to make them forget about each other, and then she starts explaining Alice's own character to her because everyone does that. And it's actually evil Nigella's fault that Alice was crazy and evil the entire time because she brainwashed Alice to be that way, which admittedly can be a pretty cool story, but I don't think anything in the show so far has made me actually want to think that it's cool in this context. Meanwhile, Ryan is out and about, so she's about to find Ocean. Alice and Ocean meet up for what looks like the last time, and Ocean says that he wants to go travel somewhere to do something and lay low for a while, and then Alice is like, haha, okay, I'm gonna stay here and be a little shit some more. It's implied that they want to be together, but they just kind of back away from each other because reasons. It just comes off like they're a bunch of like annoying tsunderes instead of it being something like they just think that it's too dangerous for them to be together. Asian doesn't explain where Ryan is to Luke, so they just argue about that for a while. Alice didn't know who the new Batwoman was, so Ryan reveals herself as the Batwoman lady, and Alice just doesn't get it because she doesn't remember killing her mom because there's just so many other people that she killed, which is actually pretty funny.
You killed my mom. You think this is funny?
So they fight. It's boring. I skipped it. Alice wins because Ryan has a panic attack and lets Alice go because she doesn't want to kill her anymore because everyone doesn't want to kill Alice. Jacob goes rah 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 rah, and then Black Lightning stands there, and then Jacob goes on about the Asian mom for some reason. He says that the Asian mom faking Beth's death was actually a good thing because in the end it gave him like closure or something. So her being evil, the entire thing was about her being evil, and then just through the second season Jacob's like, nah, not that bad. Alice then gets in the car with Accent Lady because she's gonna go to the island and confront evil Nigella, aka Empty Egg Cut. Luke asks Ryan where Alice is, and Ryan says killing her would make me more like her, but she put a tracker in Alice's boot so she knows where she is, which is like the one smart thing. So then we move on to episode 8 where the farce continues. Ryan is writing to Kate about how she's gonna die today. She's not scared of dying, only she kinda is. Alice is doing the same thing in prison because she's about to go to evil Nigella, and she really wants to kill Kate because of something, and then she also gives herself credit for making Kate the person who she is. Ryan injects something into her to give her extra energy, and then Asian's like, no, it'll kill you faster. No one knows where Luke is. Meanwhile, Luke was giving Black Lightning Alice's location, and it's outed that he's working with Batwoman and she's dying, so they go find Ocean. like in 5 minutes. Everyone gets reminded that the fakery face thing exists. They just forgot for the entire season. So Jacob and Black Lightning are on their way to go to the island and they're just talking out loud. And then these meth heads just come in and fucking knock them out immediately. It just took like 2 seconds. I don't get how these guys are supposed to be the best of the best when they get knocked out in just like a frame. So they're gonna actually get taken to the island anyway. I don't know why they can't just get these guys to go to the island on their own and then set up a trap for them there. Why do you need to go to them to kidnap them to take them to the island anyway? It just seems like a bunch of unnecessary manpower. Ryan argues with the gang again because the plot commands her to do it, so she gets ready to go and punches a bunch. Like, there's shadow boxing and then there's this. This doesn't look like what that is. The tension immediately just goes away. Like, she's still dying, but they're just laughing about it as if it's just a normal one and done monster of the week type of thing. Luke has some technical jargon and gives us some bullshit gadgets that he has on hand. He has on hand for this specific episode, and we're never gonna see him again.
Kate would never push you out like that.
She absolutely would. I guess that there would be 2 Batwomans anyway, because just that's the way the show goes, in case one of them decides to quit the show again. So she goes on a cargo plane, and they brief her about what she's doing as she is on the plane. So if she just jumped off the wrong moment and died, they're having a conversation and he's like, you gotta get off the thing now. You gotta get off it now. If you don't, you will miss it and you will end up in the middle of the ocean. And then she just doesn't do it for ages. Like, what is this, an anime? What is your sense of time? So Alice presents the dude that she killed, that she put the face thing on, and Evil Nigella is constantly inspecting it, and Alice is just like gritting her teeth like, oops. Evil Nigella is like,
my man found a tracker on your boot.
and Alice is like, oh fuck. So the 2 idiots wake up in jail and the accent girl is there to get mad at them. Ryan finally jumps and like she's all like happy and jumping around while dubstep music plays because that's what I needed today.
Hey, I'm Batwoman. Is your queen chick available?
So while Accent Lady is talking to the 2 idiots, Evil Nigella wants them to join the army on the island, and they're like, why would we do that? And then Evil Nigella has this really stupid speech about how the police are terrible and the island people are terrible, but the police are worse because they oppress people, and then something about colonizers. It sounds like something that you'd hear in like a California university. So Evil Nigella gives Alice a psychology lesson for 7 million years, and she also explains the point of the episode, which is super handy. Alice is gonna go get Kate, but Ryan comes in and apparently she helped the idiots escape the dungeon. Ryan then says that the dead body is fake, so that plan's over. Evil Nigella only now realizes that this is the wrong corpse. So she took Alice in, trained Alice, knows everything about Alice, including the face thing. But as soon as Alice gives her a body, she doesn't immediately check to see if it's the right person by just lifting up the face. So then she takes Alice to the dungeons as well. So the 2 idiots are wandering around in the woods and immediately find the EMP blocker thing, so then they walk to where the roses are being grown and there's some bombs. Because I think Alice is gonna blow everything up. I don't know how. Someone's gonna blow something up. So Alice figures out the entire plot around Ryan dying and everyone is just psychoanalyzing Alice the entire season. This is like that Family Guy episode where Roadrunner dies and then the coyote is just like, what do I do now? And then he kills himself. So they also say none of what Alice did is her fault and her humanity is coming back to stop her from killing Kate. Evil Nigella gives Batwoman one choice, that she can get Kate or she can save her own life, and she chooses to save her own life because she knows that Alice is gonna get the Kate option and Alice doesn't want it because she's afraid of herself killing Kate or something. They also found Ocean immediately. I'm just gonna remind you of that. Ocean was like this top secret guy who can just hide anywhere in the world and has been undercover for ages, and they just found him because he was in some airport. In order to get Kate, Alice needs to stab him for real now. Meanwhile, Asian and Luca are bickering, so the power turns off and Accent Lady just shows up. Like, can you just teleport from the island to Gotham? Because they seem to get there really quickly. They all bicker as well, so I skipped it. Apparently Ocean framed Evil Nigella for all of that shit involving the Kate dying and the thing from last season where all of Alice's people were murdered. Everything was his fault. Which sounds like an obvious lie, but Alice immediately believes her because Alice is stupid. Blonde shows up way too late to the point where I forgot she was a character. They just explain the plot to her, because why not, and then she just kind of nods along like, yeah, I get this makes sense. Alice finds out that Kate is already dead and this was all a lie, and Blonde says that she discovered Kate's body parts and Kate was dead the entire time. So Alice has a little freak out in this room, There's a bunch of necklaces there. It was like when the mum gave them the necklaces when they were kids, it was implied that they were special necklaces, but it seems like everyone just has them constantly to make fun of Alice and like set up elaborate traps. So this entire thing was actually a big-brained plan from evil Nigella from the start. So I don't know who actually did what, I'm just kind of along for the ride. So Jacob gets the big plane working because he knows how to do that and sends Black Lightning off to find Kate before they leave. There was actually a special knife that Alice stabbed Ocean with. Get this. It makes him look like he's dead, but it's actually magic because of the rose, so he's not actually dead, because when she takes the knife out of him, he's fine. So it reminds me, have you guys seen the Brothers Grimm movie? I used to watch it over and over when I was a kid. I love it. I rewatched it recently and I just still love it. I love the part where the chick comes out of the well and she has no face because the gingerbread man brought her in there. But it reminds me of the brooch that the evil queen has that she like pushes onto people to make them a servant, and then as soon as she takes it out they die because their life force is taken away from them, but like really bad. After this review, you should just go and watch that movie instead because it'll make you feel so much better. So the accent lady was really the big brain person all along, and after all of this, Empty Egg Carton decides to chew her out and say, "I knew it was you all along," and then stabs her with the knife, where she'll stay like semi-dead until it gets taken out of her. So she's just gonna leave her there in like stasis for a while. Alice escapes, of course, because it's Alice, and sets fire to the entire rose place because she like did the thing with the bomb or something. Evil Nigella cries about her roses and Black Lightning's kind of just lying down. So the feed turns back on finally so the idiots on Gotham can see what's happening, and they see Ryan just lying there because Ryan's going to die. There's some bullshit emotional crap as well because it like I feel like it could be emotional because Ryan doesn't want to die alone, and I understand that, so they have like a reluctant friendship moment, but there's nothing of substance that they say to the point where I'm just gonna skip this dialogue as well. It's discovered that the plant that Ryan has been taking care of is actually the rose, which she got somehow, and it just happened to bloom at that current point in time so they can bring Ryan back to Gotham and just cure her immediately. Time for the last episode. First 2 minutes of the episode is just funeral footage. It's just funeral simulator, and I'm gonna skip over all of it because it's just them crying, so we're just gonna go to the next part. We also got this dude here talking to Kate who does not have a face anymore because of reasons, and the fact that Ruby Rose isn't there anymore. I mean, it's kind of resourceful, but I don't know what's happening to her because she's actually alive, but like some weirdo took her or something. The police and Batwoman are working together to stop the drugs. Some random bitch talks about defunding the police, and the officer talks about how he doesn't like black people. So the entire defunding the police bullshit, which is stupid. Like, I don't usually get like serious political, but that whole thing is stupid, and like we know that the BLM founder was just spending all the money that went to the charity on mansions and things because they don't practice what they preach, and like California's a shithole. Like I usually don't want to make big statements like that because I'm just there to laugh at the stupid shit, but I really gotta say that because this episode is entirely about defunding the police, and they just ignore all of the horrible shit that's been happening. So as far as I'm concerned, they got some blood on their hands because they refuse to take responsibility. The CW is just funding harm. So Asian is just back to her usual form once again. The girlfriend lady shows up and says that she wants to get back together with Ryan. Ryan doesn't want to get back together with her, but it's kind of implying that they're gonna work things out because the lady is gonna stop working with drugs. She lied about it before, but she actually does want to stop it this time, unless she's lying again. Alice is back in the evil face man's house. Even though he's dead, she's just returned and has like this big mental breakdown where she's lying there in the dungeon, and then she gets a knock on the door and Child Kate turns up, which is a terrible actress, and she's having hallucinations, so that's another thing that we're gonna skip during this episode. So the evil policeman gets shot. He's standing on the stairway and then he gets shot, and then the other lady is doing graffiti things and she witnesses the entire thing. So they get some cosmetics guy who they're interviewing, and he's like, "Our citizens don't deserve this type of criminal activity.
And quite frankly, the makeover this city needs comes from an ugly I've never seen before, so yeah."
I think he's doing a Trump impression. Either that or like one of the conservative people that they don't like. But yeah, the writing is even more of a caricature than it was before, because this is like the uber political episode. They also talk about some stuff where it's basically phrased where it makes them all look like they just hate black people. Also, the footage of the guy getting assassinated got scrubbed, and the chick who was graffitiing things is obviously going to be framed for the murder, at least for a little bit, and then that's going to be the agenda of the episode. So there's more gossip about the girlfriend as well. While the serious murder investigation is happening, they have a conversation about lesbian drama, and then they figure out the identity of the person who tagged the building immediately, and apparently she is the sister of Black Lightning. How does everyone keep getting into these people's cars? You work for a police agency, not even a police agency, like a special forces agency, and everyone can get into your car because you don't lock your vehicle? But Batwoman turns up as well because some murderers, I guess the people who saw the girl as a witness, had followed her in, so they almost die, and then Batwoman comes in to save them. So the guy who attacked them was wearing a false face. Batwoman interrogates the girl, and they find out that the person who was driving the vehicle had a weird bracelet on, which Batwoman realizes the girlfriend of hers has. I don't know why you would wear a very easily identifiable thing on your person when you're committing a crime, but hey, I'm not the one who's doing it, they are. So Alice talks with her hallucination and has some very uncomfortable close-ups. She's talking about how Alice keeps blaming herself, which isn't true because she obviously blames other people. The girlfriend was the getaway person, as we can see. She said that she had to do it because that was the only way that they would let her leave, which is obviously not true because they would never let her leave. We know how this works already. Ryan says that she knows Batwoman and that she's gonna help out somehow. She also wants this chick to confess, but she wants to make a deal so that this chick will not turn up in jail and the real people will get arrested. Everyone else just wants her to turn herself in now instead of waiting because, you know, time is of the essence when you're doing a murder investigation. So Blonde tries to convince Jacob that Kate dying was an accident, but Jacob is not having it because it's obviously a plot thing. The stupid annoying girl says that she's an activist who is trying to take on all of the stuff herself. She's just basically an audience insert. Ryan gives her a drink on the house because she's so impressive. Everything in this entire episode is just linking back to either race or like oppression, and it's just very... Usually the show is funny bad, and it still is, but this is just... it's just annoying as well. Black Lightning talks to Luke about how she suspects Batwoman knows who the bracelet person is, so that's a thing. The girlfriend then confesses to Ryan and asks Batwoman to come in. So, and Asian just says that she trusts Ryan to sort everything out. Like, it's just annoying the amount of faith that they have in whoever is Batwoman at any given season. So the bad people kidnap the girlfriend first, and they show her a dead body to scare her, I guess. I guess this is the evil guy who's gonna replace Alice as the evil person, and Alice is gonna be like an anti-hero or something. Batwoman immediately finds the girlfriend as well. So none of this is tense whatsoever. Like, okay, where was she? Just at the Walmart parking lot or something? There's a boring fight and then Batwoman fails, which is really funny. They do that sawmill trap thing from The Miserable Mill. It's eerily similar. Yeah, but Batwoman's gonna get saved somehow by someone. There's two types of activists. There's like the white dude bad activist because he's a white dude, and then there's the super smart young black girl Twitter activist who's a caricature of everything yet apparently is supposed to be diverse. So yeah, they're setting him up to be like a incel. Black Lightning comes in to save the day and they agree to keep the girlfriend safe. She's lying because she's covering up for them, so they just send her to jail instead because she confessed to the murder even though she didn't do the murder. Ryan gets the bracelet from her because it's like a memento before she goes to jail, and then Ryan has like a bit of a tantrum about that. They also go on about how oppression is bad. Oppression is bad. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And Blonde is also going through some memory issues because she makes a call to investigate about the plane, and they were like, no, you called last time. And then the Blonde's like, oh my god, it seems like my memory's been wiped. I wonder if there's a character that has been introduced that does that. So we go to see Alice, who is talking to her dead cat and talking to her child friend, and says that she needs to start doing some therapy things or something. But the episode ends on a tense note because we go into where Kate is being held and Enema, the magic memory lady, comes in to start wiping her memory, so she's gonna come back into the season as a completely different person. An empty egg carton is there as well because apparently this is her big brain scheme.
You fuckhead.
Also, before I go, I just want to say, I know I mentioned this a couple times and I mentioned this in the Discord as well, but I've been a bit busy lately and the videos have been a little bit more sparse because I've been working on a super secret project that has been taking me months. The only hint I will give is that it's not a video, so I think that you'll like it. That's for when it's ready. Enjoy your stay on Wish for Death Island.
You fuckhead.